and I'm the physical therapist over at ACCEL. This video is going to go over some different ocean animal yoga poses you can do at home. Yoga is really great for core strengthening, and this one's really going to focus on some upper extremity range of motion, which is awesome for some of our students that sit in wheelchairs all day, or they just require some assistance for mobility. So the first pose we're going to do today is called starfish. So your student can do it sitting, or they can do it standing. The idea is to get their arms up over their head and then out to the side like those starfish legs. If your student has some difficulties with raising the arms up above head, what you can do is place your hand not on the wrist, but I like to go like above, and then slowly help raise their arm up above their head. If they start to give you some resistance, or you can kind of see some grimacing on their faces, maybe you have gone too far, so just stop, and that's okay if their arms aren't completely over their head. Second pose that we can do seated is going to be called octopus. So you can pretend that your student's fingers are their tentacles of the octopus, starting arms here, and you want to slowly move those tentacles all the way out until their arms are out straight in front. So some of our students are a little bit up here, and so it's a little harder for them to reach their arms out in front. So a great way to help them, same thing, is going above the wrist and slowly helping them move those tentacles out in front. Same thing, if you notice that they're starting to give you some resistance, stop. You don't have to go all the way out straight. So the next pose we're going to do is whale's tail. So you can do this seated as well with your student. Is try to get their hands to the clothes, touching right in the middle, and then they can move their hands back and forth like a whale's tail. So if your student has difficulties meeting their hands here in midline, you can help them go hand over hand and help them get them to the midline and then move them back and forth. So the next few poses I'm going to show you are going to be on the ground. So for this, you don't have to have a yoga mat. You can do it on your carpet. You can go outside, sit on the grass if it's nice and cool outside. So the first one we're going to do on the ground is going to be called fish. So it's kind of like the butterfly pose. So if your student can get their feet together, do it there. If that's easy and they can bring it up closer, that's awesome too. And if your student requires assistance for sitting, sit behind them and provide them assistance as needed. And then you can pretend that their legs are fish fins, and they can move them up and down. So that's fish. So the next one is going to be sea turtle. So it's also in a seated position. This one can provide your students more support by bringing their legs out, so their legs are now planted onto the ground. Same thing though, if this is hard for your student, go ahead and you can sit behind them and provide them extra support. And then the next part of this turtle is to try to see if you can get their hands on the ground. So right out in front of them. So this is a good stretch, especially for hamstrings, which is tight in most people. And then the very last pose is going to be shark pose. So this is good for students that like to be on their stomach. If your student doesn't like to be on their stomach, you can go ahead and just do the other poses. And so for this one, you're going to have your student laying on their stomach, and then they can move around like a shark, which is really great for building their back strength. So if you have any questions on any of these poses, or if you want some modifications for your student, please feel free to reach out.